Business development in any country is critical to the advancement of the economy and ultimately the development of the people. Hence, placing emphasis on this sector is a top priority of this government. Government has its work cut out for it since it inherited a system rife with corruption and red tape, which lacked mechanisms to allow for robust business development. The Ministry of Business is working steadily to ensure the development of an enabling environment for investment and entrepreneurship. This week on Government in Action, we will be examining the business sector and what is being done to bolster economic performance, as well as the work of the various entities to foster entrepreneurship. President David Granger, during his visit to London, United Kingdom in April 2017, said that the diaspora can play a role in the transformation of the country's economy and expressed confidence that with the constitutional and institutional integrity that the government of Guyana is establishing, the country will continue to attract the attention of the Western world.
Oil and gas holds prospects. No doubt, people will want to capitalize on that bonanza. It is a huge find, and you and your grandchildren can be assured that the country of your birth will put that money into a sovereign wealth fund, so we will never be poor again. But in the meantime, we have to ensure that our economy is transformed in a way that can guarantee sustainable livelihood for us and make Guyana proud. As the head of a certain country says, make Guyana great again.
The Guyanese economy, President Granger said, cannot remain mired in the past, calling on members of the diaspora to contribute to the development of Guyana by sharing their knowledge of innovative production techniques that can be used to develop the production industry. In a recent follow-up visit to London, Minister of Business Mr. Dominic Gaskin delivered remarks in celebration of Guyana's 51st independence anniversary as part of a Diaspora Direct event at the High Commission of Guyana, acknowledged that Guyanese who live in the United Kingdom and elsewhere have a lot to offer Guyana. He disclosed that the government is in the process of developing a diaspora engagement strategy that will ensure communication is maintained and that members of the diaspora are given the opportunity to contribute to the country's development.
There is a tremendous amount of talent, experience, resources that resides outside of Guyana that is interested in Guyana. It is not as if there is no interest. We are constantly reminded that there is this group of Guyanese that may not be living in Guyana, but certainly feels a strong connection to Guyana. And as a government, we think it's important that we harness what is there and that we find a way, some mechanism to allow the Guyanese diaspora to make a contribution to Guyana's development.
The minister said having succeeded at democratically removing a government that had been in office for over 2 decades, Guyanese at home and abroad had very high expectations of the coalition administration, and this, he said, posed several challenges.
There are some challenges with dealing with the diaspora. It is such a large group. I don't know that anyone has ever counted the amount of Guyanese who live outside of Guyana, but the estimates range from 500,000 to over 1 million. It depends on where you cut off, whether you consider people Guyanese simply because they are have Guyanese parentage, or whether we're talking about Guyanese who actually were born in Guyana. But the numbers are large, and the challenge is that it is not a community that is organized in a way that allows anyone to easily identify who are the representatives, who is it that speaks for the diaspora.
Focusing on the challenges the government has inherited, such as poverty, poor health care and education, inequality and lack of public services, the business minister assured that these are not insurmountable and can be fixed with all hands on deck. Crime, while it is still a problem, the business minister said it is no worse than it was a few years ago. However, he pointed to the numerous arrests that have been made and are still being made by the Guyana police force. He said that statistics have shown that crime in Guyana is on a downward trajectory. In spite of these and other challenges, the economy continues to grow, recording 3.3% growth for 2016. The business minister described this as impressive when compared to other countries in the region. The economic growth was attributed to the strong performance of the gold mining sector.
Both rice and sugar production were down by about 20%. Bauxite earnings decreased by about 10%. Timber earnings decreased by about 6%. That's not particularly good news. We can't dress it up. Some of our sectors are not performing.
President Granger, while in London, pointed out that Guyana's economy over the past 350 years has been dependent on a few commodities and highlighted the importance of moving towards manufacturing. For too long, the president said Guyana has been largely dependent on primary products.
Unless we become a manufacturing country, unless we move our economy forward, we will always remain poor. And we have to work together, the diaspora and those of us in mudland. We have to work together to transform our economy. And that's why we're here. We can't continue relying on the Six Sisters. They let us down every now and then. Every time China sneezes, we catch a cold. China doesn't want logs, our timber industry would shrivel. Price of gold drops, miners are out of work. People don't need bauxite, the mines start to close. We cannot have our economy held to ransom by international commodity markets. We have to find a way of turning our natural wealth into sustainable growth.
There is a lot of work to be done, the head of state noted, but with a new mood of democracy and confidence from the country's regional colleagues, along with collaborative efforts by all stakeholders and the government of Guyana, greater investment would be attracted. Generating energy from hydropower, solar power, wind power, and biomass is just another way of the country adding value to its products and generating wealth, the president explained. Echoing similar sentiments as the Minister of Business, Chief Executive Officer of the Guyana Office for Investment, Go Invest, Mr. Owen Verwey, said that Guyana is one of the most under-discovered markets for investments and is known as a commodity producer for many years with limited value-added production. However, this is a major area for investment potential, particularly in agriculture, since the primary products are already available in Guyana, with room for further growth as the country possesses vast lands for the production of a variety of crops. Similarly, in the gold industry, Mr. Verwey said Guyana has produced and exported the raw gold for many years, but much of it, when exported, is used for the production of jewelry, which is sold for 4 times or more the cost of the actual gold that is exported. He sees this as an opportunity for investors to move up the value chain by producing and exporting gold jewelry and other ornaments that can be sold on the international market at great cost.
Guyana is one of those few locations where the opportunities exist, but it's for the investor to identify some of them. If you're in specific fields, you can identify those opportunities that are there. As you know, for Guyana, an investor can bring unlimited amounts of money into Guyana. We have no foreign exchange controls for monies coming in or monies going out of Guyana. The only requirement is those little regulatory requirements that you'll find in every economy to move large amounts of money in and out.
In keeping with the government's vision of creating an enabling environment for business, Minister Gaskin said that throughout 2017, the Ministry of Business will provide support and facilitate the execution of critical reforms in areas identified in various reports and assessments of Guyana. To significantly improve the ease of doing business in Guyana, as well as to improve Guyana's ranking in the Doing Business Index, Mr. Gaskin said the expectation is that these reforms will last well into 2018 and will thereafter be constantly reviewed to maintain the gains that Guyana will have to achieve. The single window processing system, which will automate the processes of a number of government agencies involved in trade facilitation and make them more efficient and less prone to interference, is one area of intervention that is expected to transform trade transactions in Guyana. This would be followed by the deployment of the Guyana Revenue Authority's automated system for customs data, with which it will have to be integrated. Minister Gaskin said that his ministry has sought the assistance of the World Bank in working on an action plan that will improve the ease of doing business in Guyana.
Guyana is on the cusp of a major economic transformation, which is expected to provide opportunities for the socio-economic advancement of our people. This is not a fairy tale. It is what has to happen if we are serious about the development of our country, and I think we all are. We are equally serious about ensuring that the natural wealth that we as Guyanese who live here today would have inherited is passed down to subsequent generations.
Meanwhile, GoInvest CEO said that the process to set up a business in Guyana is relatively simple and does not stray far from what is done in any other jurisdiction. He said that once procedure is followed, doing business here is hassle-free. Key changes have been made to the application process and the confidentiality arrangement for documents submitted to GoInvest to promote trust among the investors. The CEO said the time taken to process documentation has also been improved. Detailed information on the process of starting a business in Guyana for both local and external agencies is found on GoInvest's website www.goinvest.gov.gy. The registration form is available in PDF format on the site, along with a list of requirements.
So we interface with the Environmental Protection Agency, the Guyana Revenue Authority, even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in some cases, and the Department of Immigration, to assist some of those with temporary work visas or entry and exit in and out of Guyana.
In addition, GoInvest has sought to ensure a level playing field for all investors by implementing a self-compliance form for those who have received incentives from the agency. The government of Guyana has pushed entrepreneurship as the key toward generating wealth and ensuring that people are able to provide an income for themselves using skills and resources that are available around them. Government's push towards entrepreneurship can be seen in the establishment of initiatives such as the Sustainable Livelihood and Entrepreneurial Development SLED initiative, the Hinterland Employment and Youth Service HAYS program, and the Linden Enterprise Network LEN. These programs, since their establishment, have sought to equip young people with the requisite skills, knowledge, and finance needed to become entrepreneurs. Speaking to Government in Action, coordinator of the Hinterland and Youth Service HAYS program, Mr. Maury Greenwich, providing an update on the program, said that it has a tremendous impact on the lives of just under 2,000 youths in 112 communities in several regions. The first phase of this program was brought to an end this year, and according to Mr. Greenwich, quite a number of young people have been expressing gratitude for being involved in this program, with many starting their own businesses. Zoning in on Regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10, the project coordinator said some 267 youths out of 306 have started their own businesses in the year that they have been a part of the HAYS project.
Region 7, Region 8, and Region 9, young people have started businesses. I can point to some of those businesses where groups have formed small co-ops. That's the HAYS class. They've started a little co-op and they've gone into pig rearing. They've gone into poultry production. They've gone into vegetable production, and that's being channeled into school feeding programs.
Entrepreneurs often embark on business ventures by necessity. Every barbershop, sweetie stand, food shop, and other similar small businesses where proprietors have chosen to operate as sole traders marks a small or micro business that has the potential to grow into a thriving entity. Mr. Greenwich said that for many of them, there is now a sense of excitement because of the HASTE program legitimizes their operations and gives them the chance to see it as something that can provide a sustainable livelihood for them and their families. Some 2,000 youths in 100 new communities will be targeted in the second cohort, which is expected to commence in just less than 4 weeks. The development of an economically sustainable country has been the focus of this administration, and it has set out to create an enabling environment for investors and small and large business owners. Through the implementation of several projects, the government of Guyana continues to promote entrepreneurship, which would aid in the creation of employment and, to a larger extent, the bolstering of the economy. Join us again next week for another edition of Government in Action. I am Stacey Carmichael.